Hi, welcome to the Junior College and Career Presentation. We are your high school counseling team.
Hi, I'm Laura Hughes. I serve studio students with last names A through GO.
Hello, I'm Natalie Nahili, and I serve studio students with the last names GR through OL.
And my name's Karen Witham, and I serve studio students with the last name OR through Z. And we hope that this presentation, which is filled with all kinds of good information on both college and career, will be really helpful as you begin to explore those opportunities. Hi, welcome to our college and career planning presentation. Good plans shape good decisions. That's why good planning helps to make elusive dreams come true. Our hope is after you're viewing this presentation that you will feel better prepared as you make those applications to college and as you explore career. College admissions. So step one would be now as a junior starting to do your research. We recommend that you would start by looking at bigfuture.org. This is a site that is overseen by the College Board. It's a great site because on this site, you're able to view scattergrams of what students were applying as freshmen and what they were needing upon entry. So coursework, what coursework is required for different colleges and schools within universities, what is involved as on-campus activities, all those kinds of things you're able to see and view on this site, bigfuture.org. Then develop your criteria for selecting a college. So that's another thing that Big Future does for students. You're able to plug in that you're looking for a large college in a small town, a small college in a large town, and then you're able to break down to different parts of the country. And if you have a choice university that would be on the East Coast or West Coast or the midsection of the United States, you're able to plug that into. Additionally, you're able to view what offerings each campus has. So you can look at what interests and passions you have, and those can then be matched up with those universities. Additionally, we have a software, Naviance, and you're able to go on the Naviance software. And on that software too, you're able to create a profile for yourself and do an explore for college admissions. Step two, getting ready to apply. So as far as applications go, there have been some significant changes in college admissions. Not all universities are requiring standardized testing. Some universities have moved to being test blind. Test blind meaning that if you send in test scores, those scores are not looked at. Other universities, typically it would be private universities, are still looking at standardized testing. Some are still looking at it for admissions. Others are looking at it as a means to award money based on merit. So that money is not based on need, but rather merit, and they would make those determinations by looking at standardized testing. Additionally, college essays, we recommend that our juniors, so spring and summer of junior year, the Common Application typically opens up new essays, and those essay prompts are ready. You can start working on those essay prompts in the spring or the summer of junior year. Currently, there are several different topics that you can choose from. What happens there is that on Common Application, you can use one essay for all of those college admissions. So there are sometimes supplementals, but it's nice to get started on those essays as soon as possible. Resumes, again, now is a good time to start working on resumes. You can also look at doing brag sheets. Our counseling department looks for resumes or brag sheets from students so that we can get those letters of recommendation put together early. And definitely asking for letters of rec early is a really good idea because we have so many students that are applying and looking at colleges across the country that the sooner you can get us those resumes and brag sheets, the better. Then step three, the college admissions application. So there's numerous ways that you can apply to college. Briefly, we talked about the Common Application. We'll talk about that a little bit more. In California, the state university systems, the UC and the CSUs have their own application sites, and those are listed here as to where you would go. And then those sites open at specific times of the year. The UCs open up beginning of November and close the end, and the CSUs open up the beginning of October and close the end of November. So you want to keep that in mind. Those are hard deadlines for those universities. Many other universities have all kinds of different deadlines and ways to apply. We'll talk about those ways to apply here in just a few minutes. Keeping in mind a major. So as you look at colleges, it is very important, if you happen to know your major, that you choose a university that has that offering. We really discourage students, if you have a university that you're really interested in, but it doesn't have your major, or you're maybe denied admissions at that university to that major, we really recommend that you seek outside opportunities, because those majors can close at universities, especially our UCs that tend to get heavily impacted. It should be noted that current college graduates change careers at least 6 times. And so for those of you that don't know what you want to major in, don't worry. There are lots of colleges out there that do not require you to actually declare a major until you are admitted and in their programs. Sometimes you can be in their programs for up to 2 years before you really do have to make that call. Other university systems do require that you make a call as to what major. Typically, it would be our public university systems. Certainly the UCs at the moment are requiring that students do declare. Then personal inventory. Big Future, we've talked about this. Again, is such a great site because you're able to go on, create that profile, and really get a good look at what coursework you need to be taking in high school in order to be viewed and looked at for college admissions when that time rolls around. Naviance, we also have a great program in Naviance Supermatch that matches students to universities that they would deem to be a good fit. So we want you to take advantage of that, as well as Princeton Review. They're a great website and a great resource for help finding a college fit and best pick for you. So as you look at the college world, developing a criteria. So what kind of intellectual climate are you looking for? Major are you looking for? Are extracurriculars important or not important? Are you looking to go as an athlete? Are you looking to go and just simply maybe be a spectator? Maybe there's a sport that you're interested in, that's maybe you want to see a certain sport on campus and you'd like to go to those types of games and things. So looking at that. Location, area of the country. Are you looking for a large school, a small school, medium-sized school? And all of that can be then narrowed down. At this time, junior year is the time to really start to sort of peel that back and look at what it is you think that you might be interested in down the road, and then doing your research. Additionally, as far as criteria goes, students look to see if many students are looking for religious affiliation, military preparation, Greek life, and then of course cost. So these are all things to keep in mind, again, as you're looking at different universities across the country. How do I test my criteria for college? So there's several different ways that you can do that. Consulting different college guides that are out there. There's a whole host of resources in our bookstores and bookstores across the country, on the web. College consultants. Many times families will hire out an individual college consultant who will sit down and work through the entire application with that student. So working through essays, resumes, all that, as far as like doing the actual search and best match for the student. So that can also be another great way to kind of test that criteria. And if you're needing that additional hand holding and help, then they can certainly be a great resource for families and for students. Then talking to friends, teachers, relatives, that's important. You know, we can a lot of times get a lot of good feedback from alumni from universities, teachers, and then sometimes friends who are maybe in the middle of that college experience, and getting some feedback there, and those alum. Attending college fairs. There are a whole host of college fairs that are out there that bring together universities, again, from all over the country. And so these can be really helpful. Right now, we have college fairs offered both in person and virtually. And additionally, that would be true of just general college visits. There are all kinds of offerings in person. You can take tours.
You can interview many times colleges and universities. You can go on their campus. You can talk to faculty and staff and really get a nice feel. Additionally, we would recommend that you sit in on a class. There's nothing better than going on a campus and actually sitting in on a class and getting a feel of that classroom and of those teachers and professors and students and how they're interacting. Many colleges additionally host nights, spend the night on campus. Again, getting to know the feel and the culture of a campus can be so important to your ultimate decision as to where you want to spend the next 4 years. Talking to students, professors, asking questions, and additionally taking a visit to the financial aid office to see what financial offerings they would have, and then specific scholarships. So finding your college match. We talked a little bit about our Big Future site and how they have scattergrams that then show what test scores at those universities that would be requiring standardized tests, what those incoming freshman scores needed to look like in order for students to be admitted to campus. Looking then too at grade point averages and a range within a grade point average that's needed and required for admissions. And then to checking course catalogs for majors and courses within majors. So again, a nice way to do your research and to find that perfect college match for you, and that looks different for every student. So here's just a little slide showing what the scattergram looks like on Big Future. This breaks down what scores were needed for students to be admitted. And so that can be helpful for the universities that are still requiring standardized tests. Then visiting different websites. So Big Future, Naviance, and these are all outlined here. So I would encourage you to take a look at some of these sites if you are still unclear as to what college it is that you're interested in. And this allows you to just sort of get an idea of what's out there, what's available. Many times we tend to sort of stay within the area that we know and is familiar, and yet there are so many great universities out there to choose from. There's not just one that is the fit, but rather there's a whole host of great colleges to choose from. And so we, again, really encourage you to use this time as a junior to explore and research. And that just will help alleviate stress next year when it does become the time to make those final calls and to make those applications. Service academies. So those of you looking at the service academy need to start really early. Now would be the time. Many of the academies actually really like it if during the summer between junior year and senior year, you get on campus, on their campuses and go through their summer programs. So that's something to be researching now. Also now as a junior, if you're looking at a service academy, military academy, then you want to be sure and get that nomination from a senator, congressman, vice president. Try to get as many of those as you can. That definitely helps with admissions. Attend the academy's preview days. Those are posted on all of their sites. And then attend that summer seminars. Those run at all of the academies. You do want to get those applications in early because it is a very tight application pool, and they're very specific with what they're needing and what they're looking for. Playing sports in college. So again, if you are an athlete and you're looking to play sports in college, then it's important that you get on one of these sites so that you can input everything that you have done in high school. You can record, this is where transcripts are sent out to the athletics departments and the admissions departments of colleges and universities. And again, even those students that are looking to play, play a sport in college, we in the counseling department still really stress how important these grades are, because when there are two athletes competing for the same position and one has a strong transcript with a lot of good, stuff on that transcript, a lot of good academics, then sometimes those students would be chosen over the others. So keeping up with our academics and our sports is really important. That these are all great sites. The NCAA site is the one probably most well known, and actually at this point is the one that is the easiest for counseling to track and for students and parents to track. It's certainly user friendly. Those of you looking at performing arts in college. So the admissions process, as far as the application process, it is the same. However, there are additional pieces that are required for those students looking to do performing arts. There's auditions that typically take place on campuses. So again, as a junior, now would not be too early for you to be getting on campus and looking at doing some of what's required for auditions and getting tapes, CDs, whatever, YouTube, whatever you've got. Those of you that are in art and are in those AP art courses, you're able to now be putting together those portfolios. And those are so important, just across the board, those are so important. So again, if you're leaning in that direction, then be sure and see that you've got those portfolios started, and those will be something that you'll be sharing with admissions as you apply. Standardized testing has been integral to college admissions. However, with the changes in the last 2 years, not every college, as we mentioned earlier, is requiring either the SAT or the ACT. However, there are many universities that do still require these standardized tests. So we just want to encourage you to do your research of individual colleges that you're looking at. And if they require those test scores, then you want to get signed up as soon as possible. You can take the SAT and the ACT as many times as you need. There is a delay in scores coming back to you. And so you want to get those tests done. Ideally, you want to start doing the tests, if required, in the spring of your junior year. If you wait until your senior year, many of the application deadlines will hit in the early fall. And so if you're waiting on a standardized test to add to your admissions file, your files aren't looked at until everything is complete. And so we don't want it to be that you have a first choice college, you've taken that SAT or ACT, but you have not taken it maybe in time that the scores can come in and be added to your file if you're looking at doing early action. So there's several different ways to apply to college. So if you're looking at doing an early action, which is what we would recommend for the most part, then you want to have those scores in and ready early. As far as test prep goes, we do have a lot of options. There's so much out there right now in regards to test prep for the SAT. So Classical Academy, we run an SAT prep course that's available for students. We have Naviance, and on Naviance, we have SAT test prep. Additionally, there are local test prep companies out there, such as Princeton Review and many, many others. Those will come at a cost. We have Khan Academy. That is a free resource. And you are able to go on Khan Academy. The nice thing with that is you can go on Khan Academy, you can take a practice SAT test, and they will grade that for you, and they will send you back another test that you can take. That second and third test, if you keep at it, will then have questions geared to what it is that you don't know on the SAT. And so it's really nice. It's really tailored for you. So it's a great resource. Then College Board, there is a daily practice app that you can get for your phone. That is, it's a terrific little app. It has then a question of the day basically that pops up for you. So at least with that, you can get an idea of the types of questions that are being asked on the SAT. So again, a nice resource. If you don't have that, then add that to your phone or to whatever it is that you're using. But it's a nice, you can also go online for that one.
All right, we have many students who are interested in Palomar College. Maybe you want to go there and you want to do the Promise program, or maybe you're just not sure yet. So here's some information about their Palomar Promise. You will go to the website listed, palomar.edu, and then click on Apply for Admission. The Palomar Promise program, the process begins early in the fall of senior year, and it is based on a first come, first served basis. So we recommend you jump on that as soon as possible. And actually, Palomar College themselves recommends our students to do this, even if you aren't sure, since this is on a first come, first serve basis. So that way you have it as an option. You don't have to end up utilizing it if you get accepted to other colleges and you decide not to go, but at least you have that option there waiting if you do in fact change your mind or decide you want to go forward with it. So our soon to be high school graduates and in the fall of senior year, they will apply early in the fall and do the FAFSA as well, which opens October 1st of senior year. And then in the spring, they'll participate in priority registration, which is an event ran at Palomar College. It's called Discover Palomar. So that's typically held in the spring. Here is an example of what their flyers will look like when that is released. These change a little bit each year, but this is what the flyers have looked like. And then we typically in counseling will post this out for you guys on Schoology so you can review it and know the steps to take. And they come up with this great little map of the steps to follow. So like I had mentioned, the Palomar College application will open early in the fall of senior year. You'll set up and check your student email through Palomar College. You will apply for the FAFSA. That's a huge step that opens October 1st, and you have to make sure you list Palomar College on there. And then you will do the supplemental promise application, which will be in your Palomar College portal. And then you will attend a student orientation, set up a counseling appointment to go over an educational plan, and then lastly, register for classes. You may be deciding that you want to go to community college and then transfer to a four-year university. That's a great plan for many of our students. There are transfer admission agreements with Palomar. They currently have agreements with 6 UC schools. You can go on the Palomar College website to look at which UC schools have the transfer agreement. You can check out www.assist.org. Here is the Palomar College information to their transfer center, and also meet with their counselors. They're there to help you, and they have a specific transfer center counseling department that you can meet with. You can also earn a certificate of achievement or proficiency in academic or career technical training programs there. So this is a great option for our students who may know a career they have in mind. We definitely recommend you utilize the community colleges for that. Here's an example of their career technical and extended education programs that they have. Their CTEE departments and programs. They have cooperative education, CTE transitions, design and manufacturing technologies, emergency medical education, occupational and non-credit programs, public safety programs within administration of justice, fire technology, fire academy, police academy. They have trade and industry, and then workforce, community, and continuing education. So they really have so many great different programs for students wanting to go the career technical and extended education route. And we have a great contact here, Margie Fritsch, that you can contact there, the Dean of CTE. There's the number that you can call and contact them, and they are so helpful. So they're there as a resource for you. So for the students applying to four-year programs, there's the common application. So there are over 700 universities on the common application, and it's a great site because it allows you to use one application with many different colleges that you might apply to that use it. And then you just add those colleges on the common application. It's a way to request letters of recommendation from your counselor, from your teachers, and you kind of control who you ask and tag for which universities, and it streamlines the process for you a lot. It's very important to know that we do not match Naviance and the common application. Those are two separate sites. Naviance is a resource to send transcripts and also letters of recommendation for non-common application schools. Also, the UC and CSU colleges, they are not on the common application, so that will not be used for those colleges. Many of our students apply to the UCs and CSUs, so you'll want to keep in mind that the UCs open November 1st and go through November 30th. It's just 1 month. And then the CSUs open October 1st and go through November 30th. Here are the two sites for both of those, and that's what you'll use to apply when that time comes, early senior year. So here's a little bit more about Naviance. I know we've brought it up a couple times, but every student here will have a Naviance account that they can utilize and access. And we put all of our college visits on there. We have numerous college reps that come on our campus. And so you can use that to see the most up-to-date college visits we have scheduled. You will request transcripts that are not on the common application. You'll use that to request those transcripts. And also you can request letters of recommendation for non-common application schools as well, if they require it. We do ask that you allow up to 3 weeks for those items to be sent. And also you need to ask those recommenders if they will write a letter for you, and then follow up with notes of appreciation if they do accept and write you a letter.
Okay, now coming back to understanding the terminology as you're actually doing your admissions and applying. So there's several different ways that you apply to college, and on your applications, you'll actually have to mark how it is you're applying to that particular university. So what we would typically recommend would be early action. So early action is just that you are getting your application in at one of the earliest times where universities take on all general admissions. So this is an excellent way to apply. Then we have another terminology that's used on these applications, and that is early decision 1 and 2. Early decision, if you choose early decision, it is in fact a legally binding agreement now between you and the university that you are applying to. In other words, when you mark early decision, if that university admits you, you are now required to attend to that university. So it's a nice way to do admissions if you know that this is a university that you are going to attend regardless of cost or anything else, that this is a college that you picked out. What it does for you then is it allows those university people to know, okay, maybe not everything on your transcript is there. Maybe they would be looking for additional AP, or perhaps at those universities that are still requiring standardized testing, maybe they'd be looking for a little higher test score. However, if you mark early decision, then those universities typically look at you quite favorably, and they maybe overlook some things perhaps that aren't in your application. And if those things are all in your application and everything looks great and you mark early decision, then they just know, okay, this is a student that when we admit them, they're going to be coming our way. There's early decision 1 and 2. The piece that would differentiate both is actually deadline dates. So early decision 1 will have a different deadline date over early decision 2. So that's something you'll want to look at and really consider as you apply. Then we have rolling admissions. That just means that the admissions just continues until the start of school. So many universities have both rolling admissions and open admissions, and that just allows students to just continue to apply pretty late in the school year. Then, of course, we have selective admissions. Those universities that would be what we would typically refer to as our reach universities. Those universities that they're looking for all kinds of pieces to come together for admissions. So it's important that you understand those. We've thrown up here a little website for you to go to if you would like some more information on what that all looks like. Then factors in admissions. So obviously grades are a piece of this, standardized admission scores, if those are required. It really now, with standardized testing going away, essay writing, those essays that you write are so important to admissions. Because you're not able to actually go in and do a one-on-one interview with a college, you really want to look at that essay like this is your time to sort of shine, tell your story. And so the essay is very important. Then another factor, another important piece to the application is getting those teacher and counselor letters of recommendation. On those applications, be sure and list any work activity that you've done, any extracurricular interests that you have, community service, if you've taken on any kind of leadership within extracurricular activities, then you definitely want to include that on all applications. Then as far as your students part of the application, getting together all that biographical information, those senior year courses, Be sure and include those on all applications. That is a part of this process, certainly, or part of the application. Listing again, activities, employment, internships, summer programs, any honors and awards. You're gonna spell all of that out to the colleges. Essays, that's in big bold because the essays really are super important now. And especially so given the fact that standardized tests are not now needed at all universities. So, and the thing though to keep in mind with standardized testing is that if you take the SAT or ACT, those scores, it is your responsibility to send those scores then directly to the university from those testing services. So keep in mind that a part of your application, if it's required, is to get those standardized test scores sent to the colleges. We talked a little bit earlier about essay writing, the importance of it. It is important to get a head start on that. It tends to be the essay that we see holding students up. So the sooner you can get going, get a good draft of it. I think it takes away a lot of the stress of this. If you can have that taken care of, and you can certainly do that if you're looking at the Common Application as a means to apply, then the essay prompts are up for that quite early. And hopefully with this, you're able to sort of, if you're applying to universities on the Common App and elsewhere, you can hopefully kind of tweak that essay to possibly work for you in a few different places. If you're looking at applying to the CSUs, then there is no essay that's required. And then we've put up here there's all kinds of resources out there on how to write these college essays. This is just one that we've thrown up here on this slide that you could look at if you're wanting to get some more information on the college essay itself. If a school requests an essay, it's important. Many universities will actually give you the option. They'll say essay A and B is required and essay C is optional. We always say if they have that up there, nothing is optional in this application process. You want to take care of all those essays and get them all done. That is true for many of the state universities across the nation. They will offer several different options there on essays, and we'll give the student then that option of doing a third essay or a second essay or not. So as much as you can reveal about yourself, what you're passionate about, your individuality, you want to do that. These essays are really telling your story. And so the more that you have it, that the person that's reading that essay feels like they get to know you, really will work to your advantage. If you've gone through some kind of hardship, something that's been difficult, and you're in a place that you're able to tell that story, how you've been through the fire and you've come out on the other side, you're resilient, you've learned these great lessons. That's good stuff. That's stuff that you want to put on those or make as a part of your essay. And of course, the essays, and it is another way for the university to look and see that you're able to use language effectively. Be authentic, answer their question, write to topic, decide what's essential for the colleges to know about you, and write about it. This is your opportunity to talk about who you are and to tell your story. Many colleges do require resumes. Not all require a resume, but some do. It is important that, again, for all of your letters of rec, that you give counselors, coaches, pastors, whoever it is that you're asking for recommendations, that they are able to see all the many things that you've been involved in. It's especially true for counselors, that we are able to speak to the whole student. So all these things that you've done, we want to know about so that we can make those letters really great. We want to help everybody. We want to help you as you seek out these great opportunities that are ahead. Financial aid. Here's two websites that you can look at for information. You can explore these now. The FAFSA is something that parents fill out. That site will open up in early October. So you want to get a jump on that. You would do that though senior year. So FAFSA is something that's filled out by parents senior year, but it's certainly something that you can look at now so that you're familiar with what will be required. College financial aid offices obviously are a place to go for financial aid resources and help. as well as going to employers. So parents, if they have an employer, many times in large companies, there will be scholarships that are available. The same is true. We post so many scholarships on Naviance, and students are able to go on that Naviance site, look at the scholarship list, and see what fits for you. And again, we have lots of scholarships that are never tapped into, but then again, this is really a good place for you to start. And we see students all the time coming back with all kinds of nice financial packages that include those scholarships. Scholly app, there's a great app for your phone. We would recommend that you get that for your phone, or at least go on that website. It is a tailor-made sort of site that you can go in, you can plug in all the things that you've been involved in, things that you've done in high school, throughout high school, and it will match then what it is that those scholarships that would be a fit for all those great things that you've done. FAFSA, again, talked a little bit about that. October 1st, senior year of high school is when that opens. It's something that parents will complete and fill out for students. They are currently using your prior tax years. So the awards that are given by the federal government are based on income on that prior tax year. There is a deadline, and many universities, again, it's another thing that the sooner you do this, the better off it is for you. Colleges don't come back with financial aid packages to you until you've been accepted. But as soon as you're accepted, and if you do an early admission and you get that FAFSA completed early, then you're able to really have some time to sort of weigh best options and have some good resources as you make a really big decision as to where you're going to go these next couple of years. If applying for the Cal Grant, that FAFSA has to be completed by March 2nd, and that is GPA based. Additionally, if you are planning to go to Palomar, you have to get the FAFSA completed so that you would be eligible for the Palomar Promise. So the Palomar Promise is based on, in part, you're having done the FAFSA, and that then allows you opportunity to potentially have 2 years of community college free at no cost, other than the fact that you're buying books.
All right, so a little bit more about scholarships. There's a lot of great free search engines. In fact, never pay anyone for scholarship search. There's a lot of free money out there. So here are some websites and applications that you can check out. FastWeb, Merit-Aid. Merit-Aid is available for specific colleges that's based on your merit. So whether that's academic or athletic merit. So check that out. And then again, the Scholly app, download that on your phone right now. It's such a great search engine that specifies individual scholarships for you. Try out Naviance. And again, don't pay anyone to search for the scholarship. There's lots of free stuff out there for you guys. So here's just a little checklist for you juniors, just to keep on track for your college and career futures. Remember, research those colleges. You can never do enough research. Visit colleges. That could be either in person or virtual. Attend those college fairs. You should be all doing this in the springtime of your junior year. Remember to take your SAT or ACT if your college is a testing school, and then prepare those resumes by early spring. So all these things should be done your junior year of spring. And here's what summertime can look like for you juniors. So continue with those college visits. It's a great opportunity when you're not in school to visit those college towns and take a college campus tour. Begin writing your college essays. Think of your story and what makes you unique. Start your prep work for any additional testing. Do those scholarship searches, those free scholarship searches, and do summer activities like jobs, internships, community service. Read interesting books that may drive you to your career or college choice. College visit, a little bit more about college visits. It's impossible to, evaluate some of the characteristics that you see without actually going to the campus and getting a feel for it. So we always recommend go do as many college visits as you can, both formal, that would be, college will plan a tour of the school led by oftentimes, students who attend the college, their reps, and then do those informal ones. Go to a college football game, go to the local coffee shop, talk to the students and see what they like about or not like about their college choice. So do college visits, plan those early.
So it's important that parents help students in this selection of college. Know your financial parameters. Think broadly. Some of the best schools may be those that you haven't heard about. It's really easy for us to kind of go with what's familiar, and yet there's so many great fits out there for students and so many great universities that are looking to have great students come on their campus. And to let your son or daughter be in the driver's seat. Again, this is going to be an experience that they're going to have for the next 4 years. So it's super important that they feel comfortable, that they feel like this campus and the people on this campus are going to be a fit for who they are and what it is that they're looking for as they pursue higher education. So be supportive. Let your son and daughter too know that college admissions decisions are no evaluation of them as students or as human beings. Again, there's so many great colleges out there, and sometimes all of the college admissions pieces can get very overwhelming. And yet at the end of the day, great kids land on great campuses and do really, really well. There's no one particular university that a student would have to go to in order to be successful. So education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it. So we hope that this presentation has helped all of you feel a little bit more prepared for these next chapters as they come along. And we will be hosting some Q&As. So please be looking for those Q&As where we will be available to answer virtually questions that you would have. And we want to certainly help and be a great resource for you here at Classical Academy High School. Thanks so much.